If you can understand Google Ads, then you have made a massive investment to your business. Like, no joke, people use Google to search 3.5 billion times a day. 3.5 billion times. You want to be on the other side of that, making the most of that traffic. In this tutorial, we're looking at the big one, Google Ads. If you stay to the end, you will learn the different ways of advertising on Google, what matches and bids are, how to build out a Google campaign, how to use negative keywords, and how to set up conversion tracking. If you're in a rush today, feel free to use those time codes below if you want to skip ahead to any of the other chapters in this video. All right, let's do it. Okay, so let's kick it off by defining some jargon and giving a broad overview. Basically, Google Ads are any advertisement on google.com. Now remember, just because you run an ad on Google doesn't mean it's going to rank on those top 4 results you see when you put a search query in. Unfortunately, that's just not how it works. You need to understand how Google works in order to climb this ladder. So Google Ads provides services that fall under the category of PPC, pay per click. Marketers are choosing specific words and phrases that people are searching for. That's the maximum bid that they're prepared to pay for that word or phrase in order to show up on the words or phrases that are actually ranking. Now, those phrases and words are ranking because those are the words or phrases that people are clicking on. So, in terms of numbers, if I wanted to bid for the phrase YouTube video, I put my maximum bid at $5. If Google determines my cost per click is $3, then I get the ad or the ad placement. If it's higher than $5, then I won't get to run that ad. So we'll talk more about bids in just a second. But right now, another important term to define is CTR. That's just click-through rate. It's the ratio that calculates how many people are clicking on your ad as they view the results. So how would you figure out CTR? The formula is quite simple actually. It's the total number of clicks divided by the total number of impressions. That's thousands of people who are viewing it. So total number of clicks divided by the total number of impressions is click-through rate. Marketers have 3 different options for these bids. Number 1, cost per click, CPC. How much you pay when a user clicks on your ad. Number 2, cost per milli, CPM. How much you pay per 1,000 ad impressions. And number 3, cost per engagement, CPE. How much you pay when a user performs a specific action on your ad. That's just joining an email list or starting a trial. Google will take your bid amount and join it to the Google quality score. We can define the quality score by hearing from the best. So according to Google, the quality score is just an estimate of the quality of your ads. Just an estimate. That's your keywords and your landing pages. So higher quality ads can lead to lower prices in terms of bidding and better positions on that ranking. So a higher score is going to decrease your costs and increase the rank position. The quality score and your bid combined make up your ad rank. So the whole idea with Google Ads is to get a higher ad rank so more people can use your bids, sign up to your email, or start a free trial. So how do you manage the Google quality score? Well, you take a multi-variable approach. Your ad to the landing page must be congruent, which in essential terms is just consistency. If you're going to do a search ad, how to make a dank YouTube video, Google's going to give you a rating out of 10. A good rating would be 7 to 9 or 10. So the higher the score, the cheaper the acquisition. And Google's going to determine this score from bounce rates. Bounce rates just being people who come to your page and just leave immediately. That's a high bounce rate if they leave within 1 second. It's going to protect Google and the searcher because the people who are searching are going to get what they expect. If they click through from the ad into the website and it's consistent, then they're not going to bounce. Understand? So the 3 factors that impact ad rank are expected click-through rate, the landing page itself, and ad relevance. So Google's going to rank your content by crawling your website. Is it going to have trouble finding the websites? Do you have a piece of content and can the search engine access it? It's also going to index and sort your website in terms of relevance and categorizing your website in terms of other websites in your niche. It's also going to have a look at the authority and the credibility of your website. So a great way to actually rank on Google is to blog. Using blogging, HubSpot managed to capture a spot on the first page of Google for 5 out of 10 target topics in 2020. They did this using broad terms in their blogs. Remember, you always want to run an engagement strategy, then retarget to people. This way you get a higher quality stream of traffic. Okay, so how does the Google auction work? Basically, you need to choose a bid. The main 3 bids for e-commerce are manual CPC, that's the most impressions but the least conversions. CPC standing for cost per click. You control the CPC, not the CPA, the cost per acquisition. You usually do a manual CPC when you start an ad account because you won't have any data for that ad account. So, let's say you want to bid $1 for a keyword. If 50 people bid on that keyword, they all use a different bid strategy. If the target CPA is $20, then we have TCPA and TROAS. These are advanced bidding strategies with automated artificial intelligence for facilitating the sale. You're going to want to have at least 50 acquisitions per month before you start to use these. If you focus on conversions for search and display ads, you will pay for each click, but Google will set your bids for you in order to get you as many conversions as possible at the cost per action. So when you set a dollar bid for a specific keyword, that doesn't mean that Google will charge you $1 for a click. The bid is just one of the factors that impact ad rank and consequently what you pay for that click. Google uses signals such as quality score, the context of the person's search, bid, and the quality of ad formats and extensions. That being said, with a lower bid and higher quality ad, I can actually outrank an advertiser that bids more but doesn't provide a great experience to the end user. Ad rank is calculated in real time. As someone is typing, it gets recalculated every time the ads are eligible to appear. Hence the importance of testing, because you're never really going to know what's going to perform best. When it comes to bidding strategies, it all depends on your objective. So let me give you an example for Fern City. On our brand search campaigns, we're using TROAS, that's target return on ad spend, because these are the audiences closer to making a purchase. And it was tested against manual bidding before. For cold campaigns with generic terms like kitchen appliance, comparison terms like best kitchen tool, or competitors' brand terms, we use TCPA, target CPA, because it works better for mid-funnel. With TCPA, the higher it is, the more traffic you get, and the more expensive your cost per conversion will be. If the TCPA is too low, you won't show up in as many auctions and get fewer impressions and clicks. With TROAS, the higher it is, the less traffic you get, but the return on investment is larger. It's just a bigger ROI based on a small number. So the lower the TROAS is, the more traffic we get, but of course, the return on investment is lower. Also, Google is different from Facebook. On Google, there is intent. People are actually looking to purchase something. Whereas on Facebook, they're looking to be entertained, and in the process, they might end up making a purchase or following through to your landing page. On Facebook, there is also different levels of awareness of advertising, which will determine what kind of copy we write. So that brings us to our next part of the video. Why would you want to advertise on Google Ads? Well, it's quite good actually. I've got quite a few suggestions. Increases visibility to high quality audience. Quality audience means relevant people who are likely to take the action you would like of them. Search is essentially there to respond to somebody's need via a query. Therefore, the people who click on your ad are going to be relevant to your ad. Basically, if someone types something into Google and your ad happens to be useful to them, they click on your ad. You pay Google for the click and they take the action you want them to. On top of traffic with decent intent, Google's going to give you increased brand awareness. Google Ads provide an effective way to tell people about your brand. Google research indicates that the ads increase top of mind awareness. What's top of mind awareness? Well, that's the first brand or product that comes to mind when thinking of a category. Think of Hoover. Retargeting website users using display network ads and RLSA, retargeting lists for search ads. This makes sure that you can target website visitors and not people who've already converted with your brand. You see the opposite of this idea in email marketing. When you get an email advertising a product that you've actually already bought. You're not going to get this problem with Google Ads. Increased intelligence with Google Ads. Strategies like eCPC enables bids for advertisements to be adjusted based on previous conversion data and other information like device, model, browser, etc. Measuring your performance with Google Ads, you can determine who clicked on your ads, traffic that came to your website, and how many leads were created. Another benefit of using Google Ads is high flexibility. Google Ads has a number of options to customize your ads and campaigns to target the audience you want to reach. Google Ads has a number of options to customize your ads and campaigns to target the audience you want to reach through specific keywords, narrowing audiences, text, video, and dynamic display. Google also helps with SEO. It can help your website reach a higher spot in Google's SERP, that's search engine results pages. Because all that initial traffic from your ads will give you a push and help you rank organically. Okay, so let's scope this out. Which type of ads can you actually run on Google? Well, there's quite a few actually. First up, you've got display. That's going to show an ad on specific websites. So if you want to advertise on the New York Times or WebMD, you just have to tell Google which site to advertise on. This is going to grab the attention of potential customers, and it's going to give a positive effect if you introduce yourself early in that marketing funnel in the buying cycle. Google is a great way to retarget. So you want to make sure to take advantage of Google Analytics, which are corresponding with Google Ads. Then we've got video ads. Much like the display network, these are standalone or pre-roll ads before or during a YouTube video. Then we've got shopping ads, an incredibly effective tool in Google Ads. These are going to drive high quality traffic to your site because it's going to filter out a lot of people who aren't interested in your product already. Because when you go on Google Shopping, you see that carousel and they've picked out your website compared to all of the other websites. They've looked at the ad, they've chosen your ad over all of the other ones because they could already see a photo of the product, the price, and the store name. So you're gonna have a very low bounce rate on Google Shopping ads. Then you've got responsive display ads. These ads adjust their size, appearance, and format depending on the space available. These can be text or image ads, app promotion ads, drive app downloads, and engagements. These show up in display, search, Google search sites, and Google search partners. And then you've got call-only ads. These are just going to connect people directly to the phone number that you provide. Oh, and if you're running any of these ads, they are going to trump all other results on Google. So inside Google Ads, hit New Campaign. A really good place to start. Then we want to drive sales online. So yeah, sales would be great. You can use all of these for other things, but right now in the Debutify YouTube channel, we're focusing on Shopify and we're focusing on e-commerce. And then the easiest one to get set up is search, and we'll go website visits. We'll just go debutify.com. And then we can change this to sales search Debutify. So we can see we have the type, the goal, and then it's going to be running on search and display. You want to target to the top 5, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK, USA. And then you want to go into target presence. So people who actually live in the place that you're targeting. You always want to do this unless you're selling something to travelers who are actually on the move. When putting in your language, this doesn't mean it's going to translate your ad copy into another language. It's just going to show your ad to people with their language interface set to that language. on Google. I have an audience here, just charitable donors and volunteers, and then business professionals. Feel free to just type in business professionals right here. Nice and easy. I'm leaving that on observation because right now I'm just trying to gather information. I'm not trying to like trim the fat of the audience. The budget side, keep it real small. And then yeah, we want to focus on conversions, but otherwise we could do clicks or impressions or conversion value. And then I want to do a couple of site link extensions. If we go Debutify just in the search, we can see a few site link extensions. So let's make some new ones. I just made these a few minutes ago. So merch store and video. But if you wanted to add a new one, it would look like this. You'd go merch store and then you'd call it the merch store, or pick up some new threads. Actually, I like that. Need new threads. And then the final URL would just be the merch store itself. And the second site link was the YouTube channel. Pop that in there. And then we're good to go. Yeah, here would be where I'd add an image, but right now I'm actually just trying to build out a search campaign, so I'm quite happy. But that would display on display if I was to add that. Okay, now we can set up our ad groups. So our keywords here are showing up. Just amazing, really, the Google crawling capability. You know, this has just happened in a few seconds. We've got all these keywords here. And as we can see, as I explained, broad match without anything with the parentheses and then with the square brackets. So right now I'm going to leave this all as broad match because I'm just trying to get that data. Yeah, and then we can move on. Now we want to write some headlines. This is where we can split test different types of ads. Okay, and then we get this really nice preview and it just builds it itself. It's crazy, Google Ads compared to Facebook. So it's taken a few of these from the Debutify website and made these keywords into headlines. So we've got the Shopify theme for sales, just the name, grow your business, increase your conversions. So we've got a few recommendations here. We can add more headlines, include popular keywords, make your headlines more unique, make your descriptions more unique. And you know, that's all there. But right now, for the purposes of this video, that's not necessary, but this really does show you how easy setting up Google Ads is. And getting into the Google Ads Manager, I can't recommend it enough. Like, I was so afraid of this for so many months, but then once you just start smashing it out, it's nice and easy. I mean, it actually, as you can see, it's so much more intuitive than Facebook ads. So I wish you the best of luck there. But yeah, add in some more headlines, add some more descriptions, and then we'll be good to go. And then you can see just how simple that is. We can run this now for 20 cents a day, get some audience data, and then we can refine that with some remarketing, those people that visit the website. We could definitely beef this up with some images. I would, of course, beef it up with video, like running some YouTube ads as well. But as a display, just getting that traffic right at the beginning is going to be just so good and so worth that budget. But we would want to increase that over time. Obviously, that would be pretty ridiculous if I was just going to recommend that you're going to take off in the world with a 20-cent budget. Unfortunately, that's not going to work, but that is that. So, few different tips when making an ad. The more you segment, the smaller your audience. So get into the habit of segmenting. Another thing to bear in mind, if Google ever asks you to increase your bid, first thing you should do before increasing that bid is to just check your quality score. Google's obviously incentivized to make you increase your bid, so just double check things before you give them a bit more of your money. And then always qualify your audience. Call them out by their profession, by their frustrations. This is going to make sure that they understand what the ad is before they follow through that funnel. Just going to decrease those bounce rates, increase your ranking. So this hook is going to be good or bad depending on how much you know your audience. Another thing, people wonder, why do you use download, get offer, shop now, or learn more? Like, what's the difference? Well, basically, no one really knows. It's just about testing. You've just got to put it out there, see what people do. You know, sometimes you'll have an image that's flipped one way and it's flipped the other way, and the results will go through the roof. So you really don't know what's going to happen until you run that ad. So test. Okay, so now let's look at some keywords. Google will, of course, crawl your website and give you some keyword suggestions. But if you don't want to use these, then just open up the keyword planner. In here, you can discover new keywords just by entering products or services closely related to your business, enter your niche and your location. Okay, now we can move on to matches. So if you use normal text, you're going to get broad match, which is going to give you the greatest reach. If you use quote marks in your text, that's going to link you to phrase match, which is more targeted than broad match, and is a combination of keywords. And if you use square brackets, that means exact match, which is the most control in matches and actually displays the exact same words or letters. And this is recommended for beginners, and then you should move to phrase match. Then you have close variants. Close variants applies to all of these, including singular and plural, misspellings and other close variants. And Google will also ignore functions like is and for. So if we're going to have Conica Lewis's greatest YouTube videos, you would have Conica Lewis's greatest YouTube video, Conica Lewis's greatest YouTube videos, and then with Conica Lewis's greatest YouTube videos spelled completely wrong. Google is actually going to be able to determine between those two and collate it. Now we're going to have to play some blues and get into the negative keywords. So what are negative keywords? Well, negative keywords just prevent your ad from being displayed and prevents less relevant impressions. It's just a word essentially that you put in that you do not want to show up. So where do you find good negative keywords to use? Head on over to Google Analytics, go to Acquisitions, Search Query. You can see your bounce rate here. If the bounce rate is 100%, then you should add this as a negative keyword. So an example would be free versus luxury. You want to pick which one of these words to drop in accordance with your brand. So let me know in the comments below, which one do you think Louis Vuitton would drop? Okay, so how much should you be spending per day? Pretty relevant to your brand, but the more you spend, the faster you're going to get the data. So go bidding option and then conversions and use manual CPC. This is going to set your max cost per click. Don't optimize at first. You want to see which ad has the highest conversion rates because Google's not going to distribute this budget equally. What it's going to do is it's going to allocate the ad with the highest CTR the most budget. It's going to give that ad the most money. So always start low, 20 cents, for example. Take a look at the traffic that's coming through from that ad, and then you can expand. The Google Ads data is only an estimate, and you need to validate that data on your website host. So most of the subscribers here would be using Shopify. So with your headlines, you need to have a CTA, obviously. Shop now, get yours now, learn more. And it needs to be relevant to the query originally, and of course, part of that overall funnel. And once you've done that, you can click done and create next ad. Split test with different words, not just one word, but make a completely different headline that's going to correspond with that headline that comes up in the search query. Okay, now let's have a little look at conversion tracking. And then for the conversion tracking, Google Analytics measurement, Universal Analytics. You find Universal Analytics by just clicking Enhanced E-commerce. And then you can find your tags just down here. So you can pop this into your product page, measure product clicks. Probably using Shopify, you just drop that in there, and that's going to help you track all of your sales. So before we add the product page tags, we're going to want to install the global site tag. And yeah, this is pretty intuitive. Just copy and paste it into your theme code inside of Shopify. So in short, conversion tracking is a bit more difficult on Google Ads than on Facebook, but essentially you just import a goal from Google Analytics. You're going to want to use Google Analytics most of the time with Google Ads. What you're going to do is you're going to convert Google Analytics into an enhanced e-commerce and import that transaction goal. Google Analytics is essentially on most businesses. It's going to pick up all of these sales on Shopify, for example, and it's going to connect it to your ad. Basically, having a transaction goal is going to tell Google Ads the sale has happened, and it's going to show up against that campaign. Okay, and that's that. If you want to see more from Debutify, feel free to subscribe. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Take it easy.